This is a download from BFM 89.9, the business station.
Lamps may be the last thing that pops into our mind when we talk about innovation in technology, but a Dutch company called Crealev have left us scratching our heads on their floating lamp technology. Here with me today is Angela Jansen. She is the creative director at Crealev. Angela, I want to ask you, why the interest in lamps?
Why the interest in lamps? Well, I'm an industrial designer, graphic designer, so my study was also about products, and the interest in lamps came about through the technology, actually, because we have a floating lamp, and the floating lamp came about after we designed the floating technology. So I wanted to get this amazing technology into everybody's home, and then came the idea of a lamp.
And was this floating lamp the first venture into lamps, or were you designing lamps even before?
I was not designing lamps before, no, not at all. I was more of a graphic designer, actually, and it just came about as an idea, and I thought, yes, let's try to make a lamp. Never did it before.
I'm going to ask you, so how actually did the idea of these floating lamps came about? Was it an inspiration from television or from Hollywood or from a book?
No, not exactly. Well, you always imagine to have things float, like in Back to the Future or classics, but it's something that seems unbelievable and not able to happen. But the idea came about to make a lamp because it's such maybe a weird twist in idea, of course. A product in a home and floating technology seems very strange but very good together.
So how hard was it, to develop something like this from a concept to, full production? Because I'm guessing that, this is a whole new technology here that you've developed in a way.
That's true, because the lighting is put in a very different way. It's LED. It was, of course, a very simple a concept in the way that I wanted to use the form of a cliché lamp. So, the basics you can find, but the making the floating technology inside was, of course, a big challenge. I must say, the first lamp maybe was there in 2008, but it was a prototype. So we recently started making them in higher quantities, and we still do it in Holland in-house. So we do it ourselves, but it's been a big investment mostly to get it started up.
So in 2008 was the first prototype. How long did it take to actually develop that first prototype? A year, 2 years?
No, not at all. But it wasn't, of course, as beautiful as it is now. It was a rough design, but I think we collaborated, me and my father. He did the technology part, he did the LED part, and I did the design part. I think we did it in maybe, let's say, 4 months.
And where was this inspiration, or the design drew inspiration from?
As I already said, it was I really wanted to challenge people's thoughts. So I wanted to just make a design of a cliché form, and like a lamp, if you would visualize a lamp, you'd see this, but then without it floating. So I wanted to, to twist a bit something in people's minds, and then, sometimes when we are somewhere in an expo or something, you see people walking by, and then they're like gone, and then they turn around like in 2 seconds, and they're like, whoa, it floats, because your mind isn't really set on it at all. Which
leads me nicely to my next question. What was, the people's first reaction when they saw this? And internally as well, when you developed this thing, what was the internal team's reaction when they saw it actually floats?
People just don't get it. They think it's a joke. They really think it's a joke. And people are very curious from themselves. So if we're somewhere and we're showing the lamps, people, they want to touch it and they want to feel it. They become little children, actually. That's really fun about it. And they just want to, they don't get it. And you keep on getting this reaction because it's so amazing and unbelievable. And that's what we really love. It stays fresh, and everybody's so enthusiastic about it.
So are people, then easily convinced with these floating lamps, or are they, hard to sell?
Are they hard? Well, I must say, we really haven't put much effort in really getting them in stores. So we have like a web shop online, and we've just been on a couple of expos in Holland, and somehow it's been so amazing response that a lot of bloggers and a lot of different people online have been spreading it around. And actually, most of our sales are from far away, and just from people who find it on internet and say, wow.
I'm speaking to Angela Jansen. She is the creative director at Crealev. And in just a moment, I will be asking her the secret behind these lamps. BFM 89.9. Jeff Sandu here, and with me today is Angela Jansen. She is the creative director at Crealev. Angela, I want to ask you, what is the secret behind these floating lamps? Because it looks like something that just came out from David Copperfield's chest.
What is the secret? Well, it is a very special technology, I'd say. It's magnetic levitation, and but it's put together so well that it's a very stable technology and has a beautiful visual height that floats. I don't know. It's something we designed in-house, and we're very proud.
And this whole technology was designed in-house. How many group of people were there in that team?
Well, actually, it is the basic technology was designed through one person, Angela Jansen, and he's a specialist in magnetic technology, and he's a genius.
Were these floating lamps the first to, basically test out these magnet technologies, this magnetic levitation technology?
Yes, it was our first design idea. Mm-hmm. Yes, and I think also the most potential.
So how important is design for you, being a designer with lamps especially, it's not something that we take into too much consideration with, planning the environment, the house environment, our design of the house. We always focus more on the wallpapers, on the sofas, on the just basically on the interior, the design itself. But lamps is not something that we really look into much.
Well, I don't think I'm like a lamp designer. I'm just somebody who thinks of concepts which fit, and in this collaboration it was a lamp, and the technology does cost a bit, and you have to have a good product which fits the technology. I think this is a very nice one. The most important thing I thought was try to spread these lamps through the world, and then you automatically spread the technology. So hopefully, our company is very much willing to collaborate. We're really looking for new applications and new ideas always. And I think you might want to see it like this, and taking consideration that it's all LED, and the technology is based on permanent magnets, so it doesn't cost much energy at all. It's very energy efficient.
What kind of design intrigues you, and what makes a good design?
What makes a good design? Well, I think you have a very smart design that thinks of problems in the world and solves them, probably. I think that's always fantastic. But I really enjoy like little things that just like are very smart and they inspire you in some way. I love Dutch design. It's always very simple and very clear, and they all have like a little story which is visible in a second.
Now, what else we will be seeing that will be using this technology? What's in store from Crealev in the coming months?
We've been the last year. We've really been collaborating a lot with different companies. So making nice promotions for companies. We've collaborated with a couple of agencies that work with Nike. So we've made a launch of floating Nike shoes. So that is super. We love that, and we're now also making laptops float, which is also lightweight products and visualizing this.
All right. Now I want to ask you, where can we find these floating lamps, especially here in Asia?
In Asia, we can find them online. And that's at Crealev-asia.com.
I've been speaking to Angela Jansen. She's the creative director at Crealev, and we were talking about the technology behind the floating lamps, BFM 89.9.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. To find more great interviews, go to bfm.my or find us on iTunes. BFM 89.9, the business station.